Hello, friends! Today our subject is international politics. Let's get to know better the UN, United Nations. How does it work? How is it structured? What are its main challenges? Join us to find out. Now, imagine a massive, bustling neighborhood. It just got wiped out by a devastating super typhoon. Everything's a mess, trust is gone, and the neighbors suddenly realize, hey, we actually need a concrete system if we're going to survive and thrive together. Well, that's essentially what the UN is, but for our global village.
To really grasp how this massive organization works in this explainer, we're going to take a quick tour of our global neighborhood. We'll look at how it was reborn, the village rules, the grand town hall, the night watch, the support committees, and finally, the big challenges our village faces today. Let's get into it.
Section 1. A neighborhood reborn.
Let's look back at the catastrophic world wars that literally forced our world to rebuild. It's like a community reeling from back-to-back super typhoons. After the first great storm in 1919, nations tried to unite by creating the League of Nations. But honestly, it just wasn't strong enough. By 1939, it completely failed, and an even more destructive storm hit, World War II. Realizing they desperately needed a stronger foundation, world leaders drafted blueprints in the 1941 Atlantic Charter, which eventually led to the 1945 San Francisco Conference. And that is exactly where the UN Charter was officially born.
The crucial takeaway here is that the UN actually learned from the League of Nations' fatal mistakes. See, the League failed because it simply couldn't enforce peace, and it didn't have all the key players on board. The UN, on the other hand, was built from day one with a universal vocation. And, most importantly, it was armed with real, actionable mechanisms to actually enforce collective security. It had teeth.
Section 2. The Village Rules. Before any new neighbors could move in and start rebuilding together, they had to sign a strict new community charter. Think of these as the fundamental house rules. First up, sovereign equality. Whether you live in a sprawling mansion or a humble little house, you have the exact same rights. You also have to fulfill your obligations in good faith, resolve your disputes over the fence instead of, throwing stones, absolutely no using or threatening force, and finally, you gotta respect your neighbor's privacy. No intervening in their domestic affairs.
Section 3. The Grand Town Hall.
So where do all these neighbors actually meet to hash out their issues and plan for the future? They gather in the General Assembly. It's this massive global town hall. While the founding document started with 192 sovereign nations, as of our modern era in 2026, 193 nations have a seat at the table. It is literally the ultimate forum for world discussion, where every single nation gets a voice.
And the way they make decisions is brilliantly straightforward. Every single household gets one equal vote. For your everyday, routine matters, a simple majority is totally fine. But for the heavy hitters, the really important questions like international peace, security, or the neighborhood budget, they need a strong consensus. We're talking a 2/3 majority to get things moving.
Section 4. The night watch. Okay, but a town plaza is mostly just for talking and building consensus, right? What happens when a violent fight actually breaks out and we need a rapid response security team? While the General Assembly includes everyone, the Security Council is our specialized neighborhood watch, and they have the unique, binding power to actually enforce the peace. But what if the watchmen are deadlocked and just can't agree to act? Well, that's where the historic Resolution 377, the Uniting for Peace resolution, kicks in. It basically says that if the Security Council fails to maintain peace, the General Assembly can step up and make emergency recommendations to restore order. It's a crucial backup plan.
Now this is where it gets really interesting. The Security Council has 15 members total. 10 of them are elected to temporary 2-year terms. But the remaining 5? They are permanent founding members, and they hold the master keys, the veto power. This means any one of those 5 can unilaterally block any substantive resolution. It's a heavy, heavy mechanism, originally designed to keep the biggest, most powerful houses in the neighborhood from turning on each other and bringing the whole place down.
Section 5. The Support Committees.
Of course, beyond security, a thriving village needs social workers, mediators, and administrators to actually function. Our global village ecosystem is incredibly interconnected. It's a living, breathing organism of specialized agencies, funds, and programs, all working together under the UN umbrella to address pretty much every single facet of human life.
These essential organs handle the really hard, daily work of the community. You have ECOSOC, which acts like our village social workers, driving economic and human rights progress. Then there's the International Court of Justice. They're the impartial judges settling boundary and legal disputes. The Trusteeship Council historically helped dependent territories transition to full independence, and tying it all together is the Secretariat. Led by the Secretary General, they are the hard-working administrative backbone, making sure the lights stay on and daily operations never cease.
Section 6. Challenges to our village.
Now, getting almost 200 distinct neighbors, all with totally different cultures and interests, to agree on everything, yeah, that is never going to be perfectly smooth. So we really have to ask, why is it so incredibly hard to keep the peace? Why, even with this massive organizational structure, does the neighborhood sometimes still fall into chaos?
Well, historically, geopolitical rivalries, like the Cold War paralysis between superpowers and the overuse of that veto power we just talked about, have often completely stalled our neighborhood watch. It's a stark reminder that the system is literally only as strong as the political will of its members. Today, we're looking at a pressing need for greater transparency in the Security Council and the incredibly complex balancing act of maintaining immediate military security while also fighting for human rights and eradicating extreme poverty.
The UN isn't perfect, but it is our best shared attempt to maintain a livable global neighborhood. And without the failed experience of the League of Nations teaching us those hard lessons, the United Nations would probably not exist today. And what about you? Did you know that a failed union of countries gave rise to our United Nations? Leave your thoughts in the comments below and send this video to anyone who might need it. Thanks for watching and see you next time.